My name is Danielle, and this is Trying Matters. If you're looking for a no BS type podcast, this is it. I'm here to help make life fun and interesting and learn right alongside you how to be brave enough to go against the grain. Here, we'll be talking about real challenges and fears that are holding us women back from living our lives to the fullest. So let's shake things up a bit and actually start trying. All right, guys, it is episode number 2 of Trying Matters. Welcome back to those of you who are listening in for the second time, and welcome if this is your first time listening to the podcast. I'm Danielle. You should know that by now. And today, episode 2, we are going to be talking about, drum roll please, perfectionism and the lie that it is. So, how many times have you or somebody that you know, have you heard them or you yourself have said, I'm getting my shit together, like for real this time? Me? Raising my hand. A lot of my friends have said this. A lot of women that I just talk to on a regular day, like coworkers or um, just people that I meet and acquaintances and things like that. Like the amount of times I've heard, oh, yeah, I'm getting my shit together for real this time. Let's talk about that. So, we're going to be hitting on 4 major points. So, we're going to start with this first phrase that I've heard so many times and used so many times myself. I'm getting my shit together. So, when I hear this come out of my mouth or come out of anybody that I know, their mouth, what I notice is it typically leads to or is paired with like that full throttle mindset of I'm changing everything at once. I'm going to master it all right now because that's what I got to do. Um, there's no baby stepping it. It is like I'm taking the cold plunge. We are jumping in and like this is happening, all of it at once. Or we have this all or nothing mentality, which is just awful, but we'll get there. So like me, I know I've done this whole all or nothing multiple times and the whole full throttle, like I'm changing everything all at once. And honestly, like it's really poor phrasing. So first I want to break down to the we're changing everything at once. If there is something we are trying to be perfect at and we're trying to change every little thing in order for ourselves to be considered quote unquote perfect, what is that going to do for us? What I've experienced in my own life and with others is we set the bar too high. So we go from like the 0 to 100 and there's no stepping stones there. So we're expecting to hold ourselves to this really, really high standard when we're like kind of, at the basic level. So think about it like when you go to school. You start from pre-K, you're learning your colors, you're learning your numbers. They're not throwing you in and they're teaching you algebra because when you were 5, you said you wanted to be a math teacher. Okay, well, they got to start you off somewhere. You're not going to go 0 to 100. 5-year-old says they want to be a math teacher. Okay. And we're jumping straight to learning algebra. No, not going to happen, right? We have to build a foundation in order for us to get to that higher level that we are aiming for. So, all at once, nah, let's try and take baby steps, Um, and then the all or nothing mentality is another thing that comes with the I'm getting my shit together. Well, all or nothing, in that regard, I've seen and experienced this a lot. And snap for me if you are in your car listening to this and you're like, yes, I've done that. Um, for example, I am getting my shit together and I'm going to meal prep every day this week and I'm going to work out every day this week, no days off ever again. I'm going to be perfect at this. And Monday comes, you eat your meals that you prepped, you do your workout. Tuesday comes, you eat your meals, but something happened and you didn't do your workout. No big deal. Okay, so Wednesday comes and you don't eat your meals that you prepped, but you did your workout. And then Thursday comes and you're saying, I'm tired of this cauliflower and chicken and I don't feel like working out today. And then the next day, you don't do your workout and you don't do your meal prep. You don't eat your meal prepped food. And then you're thinking, well, crap. I I can't have any days off and now I've officially failed because we're expecting perfect, right? Well, no. That doesn't mean that we've failed and now we're not perfect. So, we're going to build a little bit on that in a little bit as well. Um it really just is poor phrasing overall to say I'm getting my shit together. Because let's unpack that a little bit. And if you guys are watching on the video that I'm going to be posting, I'm holding myself accountable by saying this. I am looking at some notes because I want to get all the goods out. You know what I'm saying? Got to get all of the real stuff out. So we're going to talk about how this is poor phrasing, getting your shit together. Okay, what does that truly mean? I want you to kind of think about that for a second. Honestly, what are you measuring here? It is extremely subjective, like so subjective, which is bad because there really is nothing you can compare it to, but it's also good that it's subjective. Stay with me. I'm going to get there. So, reasons why it is a bad thing to use this phrasing. What are we basing the quote unquote, I got my shit together? Like, what are you basing that off of? Are you basing it off of something you saw on TV? That's highly unlikely in real life. Are you basing it off of a celebrity that you saw and you think, oh my gosh, she has it all together? That is what it looks like to have it all together. Which, again, let's really think about that. Celebrities have like a lot of money and a lot of time, and their reality is just different than your reality, more than likely. So, is that a really good comparison for you to make? What about the girl that you follow on social media from high school that you look at her highlight reel on her Instagram and you're like, man, she really has it all together. She's got the perfect house. She's got the perfect husband. She's got the perfect kids, the perfect job. Now, girl, do you really think it's all that perfect? Or do you think she's only posting them highlights? So, is that your measure of having your shit together? Is it a really good measure for you to truly be looking at and for you to be basing your own individual life off of to say, yes, that's what I want to be? It is good to have some role models there, but we really need to think about the realities of what we're making our comparison for having your shit together to our realities and what we truly want. Now, the good side about this, about it being subjective, is you can actually make meaning and measure something that having your shit together truly means to you. So basically, flipping what we just said and looking at it from a different perspective. So you can set an attainable goal once you figure out exactly what your definition, not somebody else's, of having your shit together actually means. So, for example, we need to first figure out why. So, the example I'm going to give in this scenario is I want to do more of what I love. Okay. If I do more of what I love, then that means that I got my shit together. Okay, cool. Now, you can't just leave it at that, we have to make something tangible out of that. So I'm going to walk you through what I would do if I said, if I feel like I really have my shit together. We're going with those words. To me, my measure of having my shit together means doing more of what I love. Okay. What is it that I love? That's the first question I need to ask myself. What do I truly love? Me personally, I love going for a walk out in the sunshine, If y'all are listening to this in real time, this week is a super sunshiny week. We just had the spring forward time change and we have a lot more sun, and I love the sun. So, what is something that I truly love? Going for a walk, being out in the sunshine. When can I do it? Okay. So I know what I love, and I know that if I really want to feel like I have it together, I got to do more of what I love. When am I going to do that? And I'm not a morning person. I don't know about you. If you like me, give me a snap again. If you are the person that person snooze over and over and over again and then goes, my bed is so comfy, I don't want to get out. That's me every day. I know I'm not going to get up early and go for a walk before work. Would I like to? Yes, but we'll talk about habit building in another episode. Um, I want to go for a walk in the afternoon. I have plenty of time in the afternoon to do that. So that's my when I'm going to do it. So now I know what I love. I know when I'm going to do it. Where can I do it? Obviously, I'm going to be outside. Now, if you have something like, I don't know, it's easy to use the workout example. If you're working out, are you doing that at home? Are you doing that at a gym? Are you doing that at a friend's house? Like where? Um, my example of walking, I'm going to walk around my neighborhood. Or if I'm really feeling fancy, I live close to the lake out here and I would love to go for a walk on the lakefront. Every now and then, maybe I could do that. But for now, we're trying to do something that is attainable. So my where is going to be around my neighborhood. How often do I want to do it? I'm going to actually set a goal for that. So if we're full throttling, like we say when we're saying, I got my shit together, I'm changing everything all at once, pump the brakes. Maybe we shouldn't aim for going for a walk every day. We're not always going to be up for it. And we're going from not walking every day to walking every single day. You're going to expect to be quote unquote perfect with it. And then when you don't, you're going to say, man, I didn't do it. Oh, and then you're probably going to beat yourself up. So let's backtrack a little. Let's make it attainable. For me, I'm going to start off with 2 days a week. I love going for the walk in the sunshine. I'm going to do it twice a week in my neighborhood. And if I can make it there, then we'll progress on from there. But it's going to give me that stepping stone, that baby step of I want to do more of what I love. And I don't have to go full throttle and change everything all at once. So that's how we're going to rephrase and maybe find the good in the I'm getting my shit together mindset. Okay. Either we just toss it out or we reframe it and we actually give it a meaningful subjective measure to our individual self. Now, because we are talking about perfectionism and I am just such a dork, and I don't know about y'all, but if you are close to my age, anytime I hear the word perfect, the first thing that pops into my head is Nobody's Perfect by Hannah Montana. Now, I would sing it for you guys, but you're probably in your car, or maybe you have other people around right now who are listening to this with you, and y'all do not want to hear me sing. But after you're done listening to this, if you are in your car, blast that shit and have a jam out session, because we love to go back in time and relive the childhood memories of Hannah Montana. That was a sidebar. Getting into the real meat and potatoes of why I brought this up. Okay. So nobody's perfect. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, like I said, every time I hear the word perfect, I think of this song. And it's just kind of conditioned in me to continue singing the words. And I'm going to tell you what I don't like about that song. Love the beat, love the overall kind of framework there, but let me pick it apart just a little, because if you're anything like me, it pops into your head every time. And there's a little bit of science behind us retelling ourselves stuff that we've heard that may not be the best for us. That's why we're breaking it down. Okay, so why am I bringing this up? The first lyric I'm going to little pick at is, I got to work it again and again till I get it right. The problem I have with this is this now creates the illusion that perfection does exist. when guess what, girly, it does not exist, okay? It creates that illusion that if you keep working hard, putting in all the effort that you can nonstop, we just grinded daily, every day, putting 110 every day. First off, you're going to get burnt out. But if we keep trying really, really, really hard, one day you'll be perfect. Now, do you really realize, not realize, do you really think that you can truly be perfect? I want you to think about that for a second. There is no measure of perfect unless we look at this true definition here. The definition that I found, now this is the Google Docs research. Okay, so I'm going to cite that and you take that with a grain of salt. But the definition I found is having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as it is possible to be. Where are the numbers? Where are the concrete pieces that we can truly measure and say, that is perfect? Yep, that's perfect. Okay. To me, you want to know something that's perfect? A great value blueberry Pop Tart in the toaster for like a solid 2 minutes to where it's like pretty much burnt. Okay. And it has to be Great Value brand. Don't give me a real Pop Tart. I don't want that. That's perfect. So it has all the required and desirable elements and qualities or characteristics of as good as it is possible for me to believe that it is. Now you could hate blueberry. You could hate Pop Tarts. You might be a cuckoo bird. No offense, I love my husband, but he puts a Pop Tart in the microwave, and that just kind of weirds me out. But I love him anyway. But to each his own. To him, that is the perfect way to make a Pop Tart. To me, absolutely not. Put that thing in the toaster and make it burnt, okay? But you see what I'm getting at here. No matter how much I try, my Pop Tart will never be perfect to him because there's no true measure there. It's his preference, it's his characteristics that we're qualifying here. So to him, that's perfect. But to me, that's not perfect. That toaster needs to be involved for it to be perfect. Now, you could also argue there is another definition that I found that does give you a concrete, more objective and less subjective definition. In this definition, it says, of a number equal to the sum of its positive divisor. Ergo, the number 6, whose divisors 1, 2, 3 also add up to 6. Now, what I say to this is, all of you people who want to get concrete and factual with me, are you a number? Last I checked, I don't be walking around as the number 2 or the number 7, which is my favorite number. Not that that's the point, but I'm a human being, as are you. Therefore, that definition does not apply to us. So, does perfect truly exist in a flat rate of everybody has the same measure? No. No matter how much you try, you will not achieve perfect because it doesn't exist. That's what I'm getting at here, okay? Also, because everybody makes mistakes. Okay, you got a little song out of me. Sorry for your ears ahead of time. Everybody makes mistakes. She says that. But the part that I have an issue with on this is if we're not perfect, it's because we made a mistake, or we made a mistake so we're not perfect. That doesn't make sense to me. And I may be taking this out of context. So take this with a grain of salt. But this is just one of those things where we've heard this song so many times in our lives. Like we say it. Do we believe it? Maybe not on the surface level, but if we've been singing it for a really long time and we've been thinking about this, have we now conditioned ourselves to think oh, if I'm not making mistakes, then I'm perfect. Or if if I try and I quote unquote make a mistake, I'm not perfect. Well, no, that's not how we need to be thinking. And it's just, again, poor wording. I mean, go ahead, Hannah or Miley, whatever you want to call yourself. But boo, if you're making mistakes, that's okay. We're human. We're not perfect, which is probably what she meant, honestly, when I read through the lyrics yesterday. I kind of got that vibe. But I had already picked apart a little bit. So, point being with this is doesn't matter how hard you try, you won't be perfect because we're not numbers, we're humans. And if we are making mistakes, it's okay. It doesn't mean that we are not perfect or whatever. We want to keep trying new things. That's what this whole podcast is about. That's the whole point of everything that I'm likely going to be talking about is mistakes happen. But if we try and it doesn't go how we want it and we think it's not perfect, that doesn't mean that that's a mistake either. I can't re-say that because I already forgot it. But if we try and it doesn't go the way that we thought it would, and it's not quote unquote perfect from our made up standard in our head, that doesn't mean it's a mistake. So that's my synopsis on Hannah Montana. Nobody's perfect. So we're going to move on from this now because I have more points that are going to, we're building on this. Okay. So we've talked about, I'm getting my shit together for real this time. We've talked about nobody's perfect, making mistakes, yada, yada, that whole thing. Now we're going to move into another phrase that I have used and heard so many times. And this one, honestly, I didn't speak about this enough in my first episode, but this is honestly the core reason why I started trying matters. Okay. So this is a really big one. I can't do it or share it because it's not or I'm not perfect yet. So I can't do that. I'm not a master at it yet. I'm not perfect at it yet. Or I can't share that with anybody because it's just not perfect yet. Okay, we're going to break that one down now. Because BS, total BS, total BS. Again, we're going to go back and say there's no such thing as perfect. Okay, no such thing. So, something we can do to help with this line. Okay, if there is something that you want to do, but you are scared to do it, you are scared to put it out into the world, you're scared to put yourself out into the world because you don't think you are quote unquote perfect. You're not the perfect example of the best speech language pathologist. You're not the perfect example of the best chef. You're not the perfect example of the best mom. Guess what? It doesn't exist. And if there is a doubt in your mind that you are not perfect, you're right. You're not perfect. But that doesn't mean that you should stop yourself from going into a job being a speech language pathologist that you don't know much about, or posting things about your new bake shop that you're running out of your house because you enjoy baking, or that you shouldn't share the great and the not so great things about being a new mom. People need to hear those things. Share it. Share yourself. Somebody's going to relate. You don't have to have a perfect plan. You don't have to have a perfect end goal. You don't have to be a master at something in order for you to share it or share yourself with others. Things that you can do to address that. Do your homework. So if you are absolutely terrified and you want to start something new, but you don't know where to start, Google. That's all I got to say. First off, Google, podcasts, social media. We have a wealth of knowledge at our fingertips. And if you're anything like me, I know it is super overwhelming. Okay. If I would not have been listening to a podcast already, would I have ever started my own podcast? No, I would not have. Did I ever think that I was going to get on this track? No. But it was brought up to me through listening to a podcast. And then there was an opportunity for me to learn how to produce a podcast. It had kind of been in the back of my mind because I had listened to so many. It's like, I wonder if I could do that one day. But I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do it. No. Mind you, I've been listening to podcasts for 3 years now, and I felt like I'd be kind of okay at it. Do I think I'm great at it right now? Do I think I'm perfect at it? No. Do I think I ever will be perfect at it? No, but I just ripped the band-aid off, took the class, I know the basics of it, and I'm going for it. So do your homework, find a resource. There's a wealth of knowledge out there that you can use to help improve your skills, but don't set the goal to be perfect. It just, again, doesn't exist. We're going to keep saying it. Um Reach out to people who are experts in the field. So, for example, if you know somebody who recently opened a bakery and you are, like I said, you were using the example of the bakery out of your house. So you enjoy baking, you want to make a business out of it. You know somebody who also has done that. Rather than being terrified of what they're going to think, reach out to them and say, hey, I see you do this. I think it's awesome. I want to do something similar. Could you maybe sit down with me and let's have a chat, let's talk about what you do. These are my ideas. Can you give me some advice now that you've been in this for a while? Go to them as a role model, as a resource, rather than an intimidation factor. I know for me, another example that I have used, and I think there's a lot of people out there in healthcare and just fresh out of school, where we go in and we're like, oh my gosh, I learned all of this, but I know absolutely nothing. And we like to do the fake it till you make it thing. Sometimes it works, but why fake it when you can learn from it? So having that person that you can go to and ask questions, if anything, that'll be more beneficial to you in the long run, and it'll get you closer to becoming a master at it. Not a perfect person at it, but a master at it. And you can, you know, be who you're aiming to be. Hit that goal. Okay. All right. There's something else that I want to say about this. I need to look back at my notes here because I'm like getting on a roll and then getting off. So we talked about doing your homework, using your resources. We talked about my examples there for using our resources. Oh, and I liked it. I thought about this one. I don't know if it's relevant, but um, y'all know that song. Fun fact. Y'all know that song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay? Well, the song wasn't finished. I don't know if y'all know, at the end, there's just a lot of whistling. Well, it's actually kind of sad because I'm pretty sure Otis Redding had passed away. So the song wasn't done, but it's an example that it is a great song. A lot of people know it. A lot of people love it. It wasn't finished. It wasn't ready to go out. They had no other option though. And they put it out and they just filled the ending with whistling. And look at how great of a song it is. Was it perfect? No. But they still put it out. So that's my little fun fact for the day, but also another great example of risk it. Go for it. Okay. Last main poor phrasing of perfectionism that we're going to go through. So we've covered pretty much 3. This is the 4th one because we talked about I'm getting my shit together. We talked about everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We've talked about I can't do it or put it out there yet because it's not perfect or I'm not perfect. The last one we are going to go over is OMG, I failed again. I'll never get there. I always mess up. Why try? This one just hurts me. It hurts my bones. Partially because I know how that feels. Oh my gosh, y'all. If I could just go back to high school me and be like, girl, quit your scariness. Why are you so scared of what everybody else is going to think of you? And so what? Like, keep trying. If I could just shake her. If I could just, go back and say, hey, you don't have to be perfect at it. You just need to try. um, it's the concept of trying gives you confidence. Okay. We fail forward. You think the first time when you stood up as a baby that you were going to stay standing and that you were going to walk? If you haven't been around a baby lately that's learning how to walk, you got to watch them. The resilience is impeccable. Okay. You had that resilience at one point. You weren't scared. You stood up, did your little wobble thing, your little bounce, and then you probably fell on your butt. But guess what? You got back up. You stood up and then one day you started walking. It's confidence building. We try, we fail, forward. Try, fail. You learn something from every quote unquote fail, from every quote unquote non perfect outcome. We learn from that. We gain confidence from that. Another example I can use here, I was terrified to post videos of myself talking on my stories on Instagram. But guess what? I could do that in my sleep now. I have no issue with it because one day I just decided to do it. I was terrified. The first episode I did of this show, I was all over the place rambling because I was nervous. But I know that every episode I do is going to get better because I'm creating confidence for myself, okay? I'm going to quote a Cinderella story here. Again, y'all can tell I love my Disney. I love my throwbacks from when I was a little tween or a child because on the inside I still think I'm like 7, okay? Or 17. I don't know. It depends on the day. And when in reality I'm 27. But Cinderella Story. I hope you know where I'm going with this. Y'all know that scene where the stepmom is like just being a total jerk and they slam the door and the guitar falls off the wall and it peels down the new wallpaper to reveal the original painting that said, "Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game." Ooh, chills. I love it so much. It is so true. How do you expect to learn something new, to become a master at it, to become an expert in a craft, whatever it may be, to learn something that you're scared to learn or to do something you're scared to do if you are not even playing the game? Okay? If I want to be a baseball player, yet I never pick up a baseball or a baseball bat, how in the HE double hockey stick am I supposed to be a baseball player? What you think I'm gonna learn how to become a successful baseball player by sitting on my butt on my couch, watching videos of how to play baseball and not actually playing or learning from somebody who can coach me? No, 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 no. No. I'm not in the game. I'm not in the game at all. How do I expect to become a nurse if I want to be a nurse if I don't apply for nursing school? Well, I'm too scared I won't get in. But guess what? What is a bigger disappointment to you? Never becoming a nurse or applying, not getting in, figuring out what it is that you need to improve on, and then applying again and then getting in. What's worse? Live out your dream or watch it pass by? Is it scarier to you to not put yourself out there because you're not perfect at it? Or is it scarier to you to go and try and get told no? Okay, I'm gonna give y'all another example of some people who tried and they became experts. This is my personal opinion, but Hillary Duff as Lizzie McGuire, 10 out of 10. How you think she became Lizzie McGuire? She tried. She had to start somewhere. Derek Jeter, what a guy. Baseball, here I go. How do you think he became the Derek Jeter? He wasn't just sitting at home. He had something he was excited about and he went for it. Now, this is a personal story for me. If you don't know me, I was a dancer from the time, well, probably from the time I could walk. I am always dancing. You will catch me in the grocery store dancing. I'm not even kidding. I do not give two flying flips. If I like the song that's on, I'm boogieing. Sometimes I don't even hear music and I'm just dancing down the halls at work. If you work with me, shout out. Check me out when I'm boogieing down the hall. But in high school, I was like, I want to be on the dance team. Okay. One of my friends, and Haley, if you ever listen to this, I hope you laugh. we made friends in 8th grade, and we decided we wanted to try out for dance team. And I had kind of a history of being really terrified to try out for a dance team because of family members who had also tried out, and they hadn't made it. And I was like, no way, if they didn't make it, I'm never gonna make it. Okay. So me and my friend Haley, we try out for two of the dance teams at my high school. Yes, we had two. I went to an all girls Catholic high school. If you know that, give me a little snap if you understand what that's like. um, so we try out, and I'm a little 8th grader, and I'm terrified. I go to the first tryout for the first team. I freeze. I know absolutely nothing of the dance that I learned. And I literally, like, I just stood there frozen and didn't know what to do. And we both, like, it was not our best, okay? But it was my very first time ever trying out for something. So I was like, I'm so scared that my mind just went blank. Needless to say, did not make that team. I tried out for the other team. Similar thing happened. However, I was just a little less nervous because I had gone through a tryout, okay? So there's that confidence build. You know, I failed pretty bad the first time. I can laugh at it now, but I was like, oh my gosh, I am so embarrassed. These judges were watching, all of these people that are my age and older were watching. That is so embarrassing. I can never dance again. What? If I would have stopped there, oh my gosh, you imagine the regret. Good news. So I didn't make it on the second team that year. Made it on 0 teams, okay? So my friend, however, did. Now the little bug of jealousy was there, but I was also excited for her. And the good thing here, we're going to go full circle, okay? So it's freshman year. My friend has been on this team for a year. She also has to try out again. Help, help me, help me, help me. She helped me. Okay. Now, not only that, but after I was done with that tryout, I messaged the coach and I said, hey, um, I understand that I'm not quite ready to be on this team. What do I need to do to improve? Okay. So now we're doing two things that we already talked about. We're going to figure out, what we need to improve on. How can we grow? Yes, we quote unquote failed, but we're going to fail forward. Okay. We're going to learn from the not so great characteristics that we had, and how can we improve them? We're going to use our resource, our friend that was on the team before. How can she help me? Okay. So now I go to this tryout. I've now done 2 tryouts. I'm still nervous. However, I feel more confident in myself than I did the first time and the second time. This time, I went out there, I showed them what I was working with, and guess what? I made the team. Now, that's a high school experience. Now, let me explain how things kind of diminished. Okay. I go to college, I want to dance, I miss the tryout. Okay. I listen to other people who tell me, oh, it's not worth it. That team sucks. Ugh. Okay. Now we're getting a little bit into regret at this point. So we're steering away from the perfect thing. But I thought I wasn't good enough to try out for that team. I'm not perfect, so I won't make the team. Then I get told, oh, well, they're not good anyway. They're not perfect. So we're rehashing this whole perfectionism thing here. Both of those were lies. Now I get out of college and I'm going about grad school. I'm doing the thing and I'm like, man, I really miss dancing. I really miss dancing. I have this regret now because I wasn't perfect. That team wasn't perfect enough for me. Okay. Now I think I was 26 at this point. Yeah, something like that. I get this wild idea. This was not planned, by the way. I was not planning on telling y'all this story yet. I was going to save it for a solo episode. That was not this one. But I'm trying to get this point across of we don't need to be perfect. We have to take our stepping stones and we have to use our resources and we have to fail forward and put those confidence deposits in there. Okay. So tried in high school, ended up being successful. Go through college, didn't do it. Team wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect. Not doing it. Boo. Now I have regret. Okay. 26 years old. My husband is taking me to a lot of Pelicans games. Let's go Pels. NOLA. And I'm watching these girls and these guys dance during halftime, anytime they have a break. And I'm like, man, I miss dancing. And I wanted to do it so bad. I was like, How hard can it be? I've done a tryout before. Okay. And I sat on this for a little while, and my husband was like, you could totally be on that team. Okay. Could totally do it. And I was like, yeah. You're just saying that. You're just saying that. He doesn't know much about dancing. It's probably harder than harder than it looks. Okay. Because, the finished product and the steps to get to that finished product that goes out on the floor, there's a lot of work that goes into there. So I know this. He doesn't. So love you, honey. Um, so I think about it and like ponder on it, let it stew a little while, and eventually it's my birthday, and I'm talking to my friends, and I'm like, yeah, guys, I think I can't believe I'm gonna say this out loud. Oh my gosh. I think I want to try out for the Pels. And they were all like, oh my gosh, yes, you need to do it. You'd be so great at that. You're a shoo-in. They amped me up. Okay. My confidence is still like, okay. I haven't danced at this point in eight. Let me see. 1, 2, 5, 6, 8. 8 years. Okay. Terrified. But this is where we try, even when we're not perfect. Okay. I've done tryouts before. I have that proof from my past that I failed, tried again, and was successful. Why would I not go try for this? I already regretted not trying in college. I'm not perfect at this, but if it's something that I can learn from or something that is enjoyable, let's do it. And if I want to become a master at this, yeah, we gotta, okay? So I got the guts up and I went and I did their workshop. I did one out of the many workshops because I was nervous, and I started working my butt off for like the 3-week period. This is crazy. I had 3 weeks of preparation after 8 years of not dancing. And I went and tried out for a professional team. Yikes. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun though. Did I make the team? No. Was I upset when I got told that I was not going to be a part of the team? Absolutely. Am I thankful that I didn't actually make the team because it led to other things? And, we'll talk about that another time. Yes. It's okay that I didn't make it. I failed forward. I got to do something that I always wanted to do, which was try for a professional team. And if I wouldn't have tried before, no, I was not perfect in my craft, but I wouldn't have had that confidence to even think that I had the potential to do it. I would have never even stepped foot in the Smoothie King Center for a tryout. I would have been like, hell no, girl. Are you crazy? No, I didn't do that because I had failed forward in the past. I wanted to be in that game. I wasn't going to let the fear of striking out kick me out this time. Long story, but I hope you get the message with that is if you are wanting to do something and you are too scared because you are not a master at it, baby, you need to go for it. Because if you don't, you're going to have regret. Oh my gosh, are you going to have regret? And why do you want that for yourself? Aren't we here? Aren't we here to live our best lives? Aren't we here to build up our confidence together and to be brave enough to be the person that we want to be and to try the things that we want to try? You can't get there if you're not in the game, okay? Gotta get in the game. There's another thing that I wanted to talk about because I heard this the other day and I just feel like it was so wise. It's Lent right now. I'm Catholic, so I have been looking for prayers and devotionals and things. If y'all haven't checked out the Hallow app, this is not a plug for anything. I just really like it. And they're doing a Lenten series right now. And last Friday, this really resonated with me. And I want to share it with you guys because I feel like it goes very well with what we're talking about today. So here we go. In that episode or that daily devotional that I listened to, the scripture verse was Romans chapter 12, verses 11 to 12. And in this it says, we work at things we want to have, be, do every day in order for us to get there. Wait. Y'all, Preacher Danielle has messed up. Let me pull out my Bible because that was not it. Here we go. Told y'all we're failing forward. I'm grabbing my Bible and I'm going to read it because that was the point that I was going to make, that I was reading off of my notes. LOL. That is not what it says in the Bible, by the way. I hope you're laughing with me. Okay, so now I have my Bible out. I can't do it myself. Okay, so Romans chapter 12. Here we go. Verse 11. Do not grow slack in zeal. Be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope. Endure in affliction. Persevere in prayer. And what they talked about with that was anything worth having takes work. You cannot be perfect if you don't. Well, no, you can't be perfect. That was part of the point that they were making, is there's never this like stopping point. And this goes back to the very first thing that we talked about. I'm getting my shit together. There is no end to this journey of life except death. Okay. And even then, we won't get into that, but we all have our own thoughts about that. There is no end to working at whatever it is that you want to work at. You will never be perfect at it, but you can try your hardest to be a master at it and to be great at it. That is not going to just be. Like, we have to work. We have to put in the time. If you want a great relationship with God, that's what this one was about. If you want a great relationship with God, you have to talk to God every day. You have to pray. You have to put aside time for that. If you want to be a professional dancer, you better have your butt in dance classes, and you better be taking some training from some awesome people who know what they're doing to prepare you for the day that you might go try to do that. But you can't just do a little bit of work and then hope that one day it happens, or hope to be a master at it at that point. No, you got to keep going. And there's one other quote that I want to talk about too, and this one is from Mel Robbins, The High Five Habit. If you guys have not read that, I highly recommend it. It has been one of my favorite personal development reads. It's a really easy read. It has a lot of tactical stuff in it to help you move the needle forward towards whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Kind of goes hand in hand with the thoughts of this podcast. But there is a part in one of these chapters that says, the current limiting belief is, I screw up everything, I'm a failure, which is what we're talking about, right? Oh my gosh, I always screw up, I always fail. Like, why even try? Okay. So we need to change that to, I forgive myself for the things I did when I was trying to survive. Every day I'm becoming a better version of myself, yada, yada. Okay. This is the part that I really want to get at. Here's the truth. When you believe you make everything in your life a disaster, you are simply believing the wrong thing. By saying, I ruin everything, you attest to two things. You are so powerful that you consistently create only one type of outcome in your life with no variations, and two, that outcome is bad. Think about that for a second. You are so influential and so omnipresent, such a force of nature, that when you get near something, even something good, it changes into a disaster. I have to tell you, this is a very good place to start, and it is, I'm now no longer directly quoting, it's a lie. Okay. So what we're getting at there is, you reinforce this belief of I'm a failure, and that, you have the power to always fail and have the same outcome. No, baby, you don't. The only person that has the power to do anything like that is the good Lord himself. Okay. So we are turning that mindset around. We have to keep working at ourselves. We have to keep trying, and we have to turn it around, and we cannot focus on being perfect. It is not a good measure. So we're going to wrap this up. It's been a little minute, but the conclusion of this is, we need to phrase things better. We need to have better goals for ourselves. Okay. There's no such thing as having your shit together. Only you can measure your version of fulfilling, not perfect. Let's make this fulfilling. Let's make this meaningful and specific to you, okay? Set goals that are attainable. Take your baby steps. That's how you're going to get where you want to go. And we're, again, not aiming for perfect because it doesn't exist. We have to be kind to ourselves and remember that nobody is perfect. Well, Hannah was right on that. But take that song with a grain of salt, okay? Do your homework. Use resources to start and to share and let others support and help you. Just like my friends did, just like my friend from high school and, the good Lord himself. And turn the failure into progress towards your goal because you are in the game now, okay? Other than that, let's fucking go! And if y'all didn't know that I was going to be popping off with some bad words and using Bible quotes in the same episode, now y'all got me wrapped up in a nutshell, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Y'all have a great rest of your day or night or whenever you're listening to this. I hope you loved it and come back for more. Like, we're just getting started over here, okay? Perfectionism, everything else, fulfilling and trying. Let's fucking go. Let's go, girls. Let's go. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening in. I hope you got a little inspiration to start taking steps towards whatever it is you've been wanting to try. If you love this episode, share it on socials and tag me. I'd love to hear how it helped you. And of course, we got to get the word out to the other women who are needing that little extra push like you and I do. Can't wait to talk to you soon.